You know, as the seasons change, you have to do maintenance, Rob. You know, like again, the hockey rink isn't used in the summertime at the same thing, so you have to use the polo courts. And as you know, we are refined people and use the polo courts. So as you, me, and Timbo Slice went out to the fields to play polo, as we all do, and we took our unique horses, we did notice that the ground was strewn with lettering. And again, asking why some vandal would desecrate this wonderful plush grass court with such words as "lost in a dream." I don't know which way to go. If you are there, if you are all, then you see me, then baby, I'm moving way too slow. I wonder what that's all about.
I don't know. Do you think anybody's doing a inventory check on the spray cans that are being used and purchased for like spray paint to be able to try to track this nefarious evildoer down?
I don't know. It's like, it was really strange because clearly the part that was weird, because first off, it was spray painted, and then in blood, it was straight up, tell me now, do you want to love me forever? And I was like, whoa, what's going on, Vanis? I was like, I don't know. So I will leave it to the people at home. Please tell me what this cryptic clue means. Tell me what this is all about.
Well, and if you know who Venice is, listen, that last part looked like it was drawn in blood, as Stu said. It looked like it was peed. So, like, you know who Venice is. You might want to get them to get, like, maybe they got a UTI. There's something going on. They definitely need to get that checked out. Just a friendly reminder or a heads up.
It's one of those things where I don't understand, but what I do understand is I'm here with two of our hosts of the trifecta that is the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. Welcome, everyone, as we are here to discuss our thoughts on the full season of Ms. Marvel, a critically acclaimed darling, not very well viewed television show from the new offering from the Marvel folks at Marvel. We did a review episode 1, and now we've seen the other 5, and here we are to wrap up our thoughts on it and let you know what we think. With me is one of the heroes and owners and proprietors of Heroes World, that'd be Mr. John Ho.
Hello, folks.
And the variant and one of the hosts of the Sidekick Show, that'd be Mr. Rob Goudet.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so let's break bread. We were really.
And who are you again?
Sorry?
What's your name now?
Oh, Stu. I'm here. It says it on the nameplate. Let's go. Let's continue on. We flashback.
Yeah.
To our first episode talking about Ms. Marvel. We loved it. I was critical about the villain of what this could be. I thought that the way that it was done, where it did the clip at the end, I'm like, that was too much cryptic. Like we needed a true mustachy twirly villain.
Yes.
But now that we've seen enough and it's spun us around a few times, John, give us your non-spoiler thoughts of this full season, because we've had WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, Moon Knight. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Marvel shows in, if you don't include What If. So give us your thoughts on.
Wants to include that.
Is it generally not included? What if?
It is. It's a cartoon.
This to What If? All right, I guess
if they have their kids,
What If it was good?
It got nominated for an Emmy, unlike a lot of these other shows. So let's go from there.
Yeah, so hopefully lots of Emmy nominations to come for this particular show, because I do think it is one of, if not the best, of Marvel's offerings in the Disney Plus realm. I think I originally rated episode 1 as it over-delivered. I think I gave it an 11 out of 10. I feel like this series knocked it out of the park. It's a fun watch. It's great. It's beautiful. It covers a lot of things, like even educationally, and just a lot of really good performances in it. So I think I'm going to stand by my 11. I feel like I can't go backwards on this show, because I think it just did a great job.
Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, this is the first Marvel TV series to be rated exclusively PG. And the reason I bring that up is because there are moments mostly seen in a couple of the beginning of earlier episodes, and then definitely in the end, that is a little bit Disney-esque tomfoolery, Home Alone-ish. Hey, we're gonna beat the bad guys, and you can excuse that with the understanding that this is a PG TV series, that they're going for a bit of a younger audience, or at least wanting to encapsulate the younger audience. There's an argument that can be made as to why this show should probably rate about an 8.5 out of 10. There's also an equal argument to be rated as to why it should be rated as a 9. For me, I'm going to give this show a 9 out of 10 for the whole season. I do have a couple of caveats, and the one being, and I'm not going to get into the spoilers, but will this show be remembered for its totality of the story, or will it be remembered for what happens in the last minute and a half of the series? That's my only concern.
I think, to your point, Rob, this show, critically darling, people love it a lot. I think it speaks to a certain type of person, someone who hasn't seen themselves in media as a hero. Again, we said in episode 1, you have to, there aren't many Pakistani Muslim, superheroes, and it's kind of the theme of some of the other shows, like an Egyptian superhero, and she's like, these are areas of fandom that aren't represented on a regular basis, and people could say, well, it's all woke and blah blah blah, but I think it's a good thing that we have different people, different heroes, different perspectives, because part of the show is showing is that there are different people and backgrounds, and they're just like you and I. It's humanizing. It's what people said before about the Will and Grace effect in the US. It's like the show came out when people were not necessarily comfortable with that type of world, and it kind of got people comfortable with it, and to the point where now it's not as a big issue as it was when that first show came out. So if shows like this can continue to not break barriers, but just ease into people's comfortability in terms of especially in the US, how they feel about non-Christians, it is difficult, especially in the Muslim world. So it is just things of enlightenment is a good thing. It teeters because I think that there's a fandom of us who knows this character, who see things a certain way, and was delivered but also not delivered. And without going into full spoilers, we'll see, because again, they've left the door a little bit open, but we'll go into that in the spoiler section for those who want to know. But like Rob, I really liked the show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the goofiness of the Home Alone action in the last episode.
Yeah.
It's fine. I get it. It's like for little kids. It's the same reason why they love episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars. It's like it's a spectacle to watch, and why they don't want to watch Blade Runner, which is slow, meandering, Harrison Ford walking the streets of Los Angeles in the future. So yeah, like Rob, I'm going to give this a 9. I think that it was very well executed. Out of the group of episodes, I felt the strongest. I feel like the strongest was still episode 1. I think I really enjoyed it as my favorite episode. John, out of the 6, do you have a favorite?
I think I like episode, I think it's 3, where they have the wedding. I think that's my favorite episode. There's a lot going on there. There's a bunch of action, and there's like Stu said, there's kind of almost like an introduction of this and an expanding of this culture that a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with. And what better way to get familiar with it than being attending a wedding? How beautiful is that? And I thought they could have not added the action element, and it could have just been this beautiful wedding, and I would have been happy watching this episode. I think it's episode 3. Yeah.
Those of us who attended some of these South Asian weddings knows that it's a 4-day affair. So it's a true party. Rob, your thoughts? What was your favorite?
I was gonna say, John's that episode of Wedding, though. I gotta tell you what it reminded me of was that the action scene was the same as Hawkeye, with the in the hotel during the auction, the black market auction. It was very similar to that. Yeah,
but they added a Bon Jovi song.
Yes, they did. I actually really enjoy episode 1, but for me though, it's tied with, I think it's episode 5, which is the history.
Flashback.
The flashback of the grandparents and stuff like that. And that's not to take away from Iman Vellani because she was not really in it. But when she was towards the end of that episode, very powerful. But the story that was being told, I think, was really important, and I really enjoyed. You just get these characters for one episode for a short 38-minute window, and you are like enraptured and wanting to see this story blossom and bloom. So I really liked episode 5, and so much so, guys, my son actually, we paused and he asked if this stuff had really happened because he was watching it and I was trying to explain. When I will say partition is a very difficult thing to explain, especially from somebody who doesn't have a historical background, and because I'm Caucasian. But to try to explain the historical context, it's very difficult to do. But he was intrigued in it, and it did what that episode did what it was meant to do, was to have people ask the questions about it. So for me, episode 1 and 5 are right there, neck and neck.
Yeah, and I think, Rob, you hit a really good point, is that, you know, the events depicted here are somewhere that we are not privy to on a normal day-to-day. We've seen a million of these shows that are, you know, British / European based, and you know the stories of Robert the Bruce and all these big cultural moments in Anglo history, because it's just, that's where stuff comes from. So it is nice to get a flavor of another country, another situation, because again, it's, to your point, it's history, it's education, and it's learning about a different culture in that capacity. But again, how many times can we see a reboot of King Arthur over and over and over? It's nice to see something, you know, something different. John, we're gonna go into spoilers because I think we need to. So if you can bring up the thing. That was brought to you by Heroes World. Your store to buy all things Heroes World.
John, what happened to our graphics?
It's gone. John. John,
we're back.
Heroes World we had to throw some more money into the tip jar for Heroes World to bring back on the thing. John, give us your spoiler, like your list, because you probably have a list of things you enjoyed in this series. Like, what is it that you enjoyed?
So I was going to start aiming like favorite things, but there's so many things to like about this show that I feel like it wouldn't be fair to me to do that list, because, you know, of course Iman's going to be at the top of that list, but I decided to pick my favorite moments. So number 5 is Avengers Con, which is from that first episode. The beauty of the idea of this event, and Iman and her friend, or not Iman, Camilla and Bruno attending this event and just being like fans like us. We've all attended many a Comic-Con. I don't think any of us has been to like a San Diego or a big deal show, but I know Andre has, and he said it's amazing, like these types of shows. So to represent that on screen was a really cool thing to see, and the way they did it was really cute, with all the different people and the cosplayers and all that kind of fun stuff, and just the looks on their faces. And then when you hear about the behind the scenes stuff, that they really put this together, and the cast was kind of wandering around going what's real, what's not, and that kind of thing. That's just beautiful. Number 4 is the street chase, which I think is episode, I want to say 4, where they're kind of like running. They meet up with the Red Daggers, and they're running through the streets. Like, this is the type of stuff that's like, it's like an action adventure movie. So this, I think that whole scene was worthy of a full out movie. Like I think of like Ong Bak, and, you know, like some of those Indiana Jones type movies and things like that, where they're just, you know, it's just a fun romp through the streets, and they really did a good job working with what they had. So they very good use of the camera and all that kind of stuff. Number 3 is going to be the embiggening scene, which is where she kind of like grows like the arms and the extra feet, which is kind of like one of her comic book traits, where she kind of like makes herself bigger. They've adjusted her power set and the visual representation of it, but it was cool to see her say the word and kind of like manifest it. So it was really cool to watch her walk around and just kind of like punch a whole bunch of stuff, which is awesome to see on screen. Number 2 has got to be the wedding. The wedding is a lot of fun. Like I said, they could have had the whole episode of the wedding, and then kind of like, oh, now we resume our regularly scheduled superhero program. I would have watched the whole thing. It was a very, I can't not call this show beautiful. And the number 1 is the whole mirror gimmick. So I think it's the first episode where she looks in the mirror and she's got her cosplay outfit on, and she's kind of awkward in it, and kind of pulling at her shirt, and like kind of doesn't quite fit or look right in what she wants to be in her mind. And then the end, she's wearing the Miss Marvel costume the full costume, which looked amazing on the screen. And she's looking in the mirror, nice and confident. She kind of just gives it a little tug and just kind of like is just standing there looking at the mirror. So I thought that was a really way to tie in I guess the overall idea is just her trying to find her place in the world. Like, who can't relate to that? So I think that is, like I said, I could watch this stuff without the superhero stuff. If it was just a kid trying to find her way in this world, I would have watched the whole prequel season, a boy meets world or girl meets world, whatever you want to call it, version of the show of her being this daydreamer, kind of getting to school with her friends and all that kind of stuff. So again, I just really love the show. So great. Looking forward to hearing what you guys say.
Rob, your thoughts?
So as a whole, so first episode when we did the review, I really enjoyed, and I mentioned the parental figures, like the family, the people that were surrounding her, and that never stopped being special to watch. Those, I don't have a list like John's, but those characters,
you don't need one. Those
characters were just so supportive in the literal and figurative sense of the word. And when she went and visited her grandmother, like, the thing is we know that this is a Pakistani family, that's right from the traditions, the clothes, the everything they talk about, but there are central themes that it's universal. Family, your grandparent or your grandmother. Like, I was close to my mom's mom, my grandmother, right? Like, I would call every Friday after Regis and Kelly, right? I always knew to make sure I called her at 11, and she always expected my phone call. So I was close to her, and I felt that, I could see that with Kamala, with her grandmother, and the battling of the generations of mother to daughter. Like, those are just universal themes, regardless of what your background is. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, but poorly.
Yeah,
so
when she lands in the airport and the grandmother says the same thing to the mother that the mother says to the daughter, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, and so I just really appreciated these really easily understood nuances that sometimes I think get really overlooked or overhyped up. And this was just being like holding up your iPhone to yourself and them showing you what your life is like, but just from the lens of a different nationality than maybe what you are. Like, for me, obviously, right? So I thought it was just so easily accessible. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. I gotta say, like, the one thing is, like, the big bad being like the newer. And Kamran's mom, I thought first of all, I thought she was just absolutely terrifying looking. So I was like, she's definitely a villain. I didn't really understand though what his power set was in terms of, like, now is he like a big bad villain? Like, I don't know what his connection is. I don't know these comics, so I'm not really sure what that.
I think he's a new character. So Cameron is it's a whatever. So it wasn't articulated of what he is or what he does, and don't worry about it.
Okay. Like I said, episode 5 for me, like, the historical aspect of this, because the nice thing about it is sometimes when you see these movies or TV shows and they do these flashbacks to generations past, it's very difficult for you to be able to make a thorough line between the flashback characters and where your main character is. And in this, you could see that trail. Like, you could see that they were connected, right? Intergenerationally. So I really enjoyed and appreciated all of the actors brought their A game on this. Like, it just felt so much fun. But I'm going to go spoiler on this. In episode 1 review, I said I was worried about her powers being limited to the band. And I was like, I want there, like, I don't, because somebody's going to take it off and all of a sudden she's not going to have powers anymore. And we were like surmising, well, maybe at some point something will happen. Well, the powers will be internalized, right? And obviously that brings me to, like, that last minute and a half reveal, where I went, holy shit. And my son was like, what? I was like, did you hear that? And I rewound it because Bruno comes up to Kamala and is like, I re-examined your DNA, which I don't know when you found the time, but they had a week later. I re-examined it all and I found there's a mutation. And then you hear the chord from the X-Men 97 cartoon. And I was just like, oh,
like, you're crazy. You heard that? I didn't hear it. I had to read about it after.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh my God, I rewound it because you could hear that. Like, I was like, oh my God. So for me, that made me like, I got super stoked about this, right? Because this is the first official mention of mutants in the MCU proper. Don't tell me about Professor X in Multiverse Madness because there's a
Padre X.
Yeah, Padre X. So I was really excited, but this is where I was a bit concerned.
That's actually Rob's superhero name when he's a
Padre X. Yeah. So
when
I
he punches someone out, he's like, and then he's just.
So I'm just a bit concerned. That's why I say, well, will this show be remembered for all the amazing qualities that we've talked about, or will it be remembered for that reveal? That was my concern. I'm hopeful it will be the.
I don't think to be fair, I don't think anyone besides true nerds even paid attention to that. You know.
Okay, so
you are taking a lot.
He said mutant. He very clearly said mutation or whatever.
But it still leaves the doorway open for Inhuman because I think we've said that before. Where if you know the character, she is Inhuman. And
it's like a precursor to mutants, I guess.
They're gonna blend it. I don't know what they're gonna say in terms of a mutant or whatever stuff, but
I like the incorporation of the bangle in her costume now. I thought that was more interesting than that little drop.
Well, Iman Vellani did an interview, and she said that because she was the only one that had that line in her script. Even the guy who played Bruno said he didn't know. They were saying, you're going to say something in this take. And he's like, okay. And she said that she called or emailed Kevin Feige and went ballistic. Like, is this for real? Are you serious? And he called her and said, yes, the doorway is being opened for mutants. So I think it's safe to say that it's, at any rate, I'm excited for that. Overall, I really enjoyed this series. We've gushed over Iman Vellani a lot, and it's totally well deserved. But everybody just did a fantastic job in the show, and I am very excited to see what the Marvels movie will be like next year.
She didn't. For those who know, she did an AMA today, and two of the questions that stood out was like, if there's another MCU show, like what show is it? And she's like, Silver Surfer. So she wants Silver Surfer. And they asked, hey, if you could be any other character outside of this one. And she's like, oh, yeah, Galactus. So her head is where she's at, where she wants to be Galactus and Silver Surfer. So it just leads me to the rumors of Silver Surfer. Is the Keanu Reeves, Norman Rad, Silver Surfer, is that the special combination? Is that what we need?
Is it going to be his voice, you mean? Is it going to be like a Doug Jones, Lawrence Fishburne type thing? Okay. Because I don't want to see Keanu with his
I think they'll, like, as Norman Rad, they'll probably do some scenes for him, but like the other thing will just be like, mocap or whatever, like a Silver Surfer him. And he was so good in Point Break as a Silver Surfer. Why not bring it back?
Right. It just happened to be 30 years ago, but yes, you're right.
Hey man, that stuff don't go old, man. You can jump back on that.
You can still be an FBI agent.
You can still ride that horse, get back on that bike.
I'm the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I will see what happens.
Harold.
Whether it is truly the mutants or whatnot, I think there's a few subtle things, but let's jump to the reveal at the end too, because at the very, very end, it's Ms. Marvel sitting there, and we all thought the band was going to change, but it flashes, then all of a sudden Captain Marvel shows up, and then it shows Marvel looking around just in terror going, no, and just running out. John, were you excited when you saw Brie Larson there? And
I was shocked. I thought we were going to get like another scene.
Do you think you were going to get Monica Rambeau? You thought you were going to get one of the Rambeaus and not.
I thought we were going to maybe get some type of interaction between the two. I didn't know she was going to flash out and take her spot, leaving more questions than we were left with at the end of the series. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel like Rob is right that the shock factor is going to get a lot of people's attention. But I feel like it was such a small part of the entire series that it didn't have as much weight to me as I guess the aftermath is having right now. But there's too many questions. I can't really even speculate like what does the bangle do? How could the bangle makes her come in? Like there's so many things. But it was nice to see her back in costume.
Rob, what are your thoughts of Brie Larson?
Well, yeah, listen, it was really cool, like John said, to see her back in the costume. So I
read
an article. Sorry?
New costume.
Yeah, it was definitely a new costume from the last time we saw her, which would have been Endgame, right? So I was excited to see it. I did think, and we maybe discussed it before. I thought it was going to be like Monica Rambeau because she was in WandaVision. I didn't think they were going to get Brie Larson. I was really excited to see that. I did read an article today, and I don't know if the producers are making the tie or if it was the author of the piece, but they were saying that there's a tie between the bangles to Shang-Chi's rings, because in Shang-Chi, Carol Danvers shows up. Remember, she's in the hologram, and she's like, I've never encountered this power before, and I'm being drawn to it. And then to see,
whoa, that's not the line.
The
line. No. I watched Shang-Chi yesterday.
Okay.
There goes
you nerd.
Hey, yeah, it goes. Wong goes, I've never seen this before, not on our planet. Bruce, he goes, oh, Chitauri. She goes, no, this is nothing I've ever seen before. I gotta run. He'll give you my number. And then she basically bounces. Okay. And Bruce is like, no, I don't have her number. She does this all the time. and he goes, oh, well, welcome to the circus. And then they lock off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So there is some connection, I guess, between Shang-Chi, the bangles, and the bracelets, not the band.
Do you think that the bangle is basically the 10 rings broken up into 10 bands?
It's like a whole sleeve.
There's two bangles. So one bangle is the one that she has, and the other one's that's split up into the 10 rings.
Yeah, that's what I believe to be true. Yeah.
Oh.
So at any rate, because we've talked about this again, numerous different podcasts, their play on the purple and blue lights is not coincidental. Like, they're purposefully doing this, right? That's their color palette of the cosmic whatever. So, it's purposely being done. The fact that she's looking at her hand, Carol Danvers, in the closet, Kamala Khan's closet, and is like, what the hell? Like, it's glowing. And you're right, Stu. She sees an entire bedroom of paraphernalia dedicated to her. That's like a house of horrors. That stuff is that you see in horror movies where you walk in, you realize somebody's been stalking you. So that's why when he ran out screaming, I was
just be like, "What's my cut on all this merch, man?" Like,
can we give a moment and give a moment of silence for our boy James Caan in Misery? That's essentially what it is. Is this a misery? Is this a misery situation?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, James Caan. Rollerball, underappreciated. I'm just saying right now. Rollerball, man. People don't appreciate OG Rollerball.
John, the poster's fire.
Rollerball.
Poster's fire. I don't remember. What was the Dean Cain follow up? Wasn't there a Dean Cain follow up?
Oh no, that was Rollerball with Rebecca Romaine. That was with LL Cool J and with the guy that was from American Pie.
Jason Biggs?
No.
Jason Schwartzman.
Oh, Stifler?
No. Kevin Kline.
Oh, is it Kevin Kline?
Chris Klein. Chris Klein. Who's also in Chung Lee, the legend of Chung Lee, the Love Street.
Okay, we can't talk about this anymore while talking about Miss Marvel. Get that out of here.
Let's just say the Rollerball was awesome, and it deserved respect, John. You need to go back and watch OG Rollerball. Yeah, it's one of those things where I was not surprised, but I feel to our conversation before, this is an event. If you are a hardcore Ms. Marvel fan, you want to wait to see that reveal of her meeting her hero on the big screen.
Yeah,
that experience. If you were to do it now, it's kind of like she's gonna freak out. Like, it is nice, I guess, to have that, but you really want that experience to be in the movie theater where she just freaks out.
Yeah, I think when Amon shows up on the theater, I mentioned this in one of our other reviews. I think people are going to cheer. I'm going to cheer when I see her pop onto the big screen. I'm going to be ecstatic.
And then she did mention in one of the AMAs that she didn't even realize she was in the movie till Kevin Feige's like, "Hey, the Marvels," and she's like, "What? I'm in this movie?" Like, okay, cool. Like, so
get here on Monday.
She's off left in the dark.
Hey, I have a question from the guy for the comic version of this character. Does everybody know who she is? Because that was the one thing at the end of episode 6. I was like, she's like lifting off her mask, and everybody seems to know who she is, and I'm like, man, this is like the Flash all over again. Everybody seems to know that Barry Allen's the Flash in this damn TV series.
Rob, it's no dissimilar to Bruce Wayne's secret identity. Everyone knows it's Bruce Wayne. Like, who doesn't know Batman is Bruce Wayne? Like, everybody knows.
You know what? Condiment King, Kite Man, no idea that they're together. That is their same person.
I'm sure no one knows but everyone else knows who Bruce Wayne is, Batman. So it's kind of, you just throw that out the window in terms of that. Her powers, stretchiness and stuff are there. It's funny because then if it's a truly mutant, I wonder, it's like Cyclops doesn't need the visor to have power. Right. It works all the time. It's like, the moment he just looks, laser beams are coming out. So again, it's not explained why the red thing stops the laser beams. Again, don't ask questions, because if they're coming all the time, they don't stop. Like, wouldn't the light come back?
You're getting too much into this.
So
no, isn't it the red? Isn't it the red quartz inside? It harnesses it builds it up and stores it. That's why he's got to wear it.
All I know in the video game that you press it down and it gets a bigger optic blast. So I don't know, John.
Which is probably one of the worst parts of the Bryan Singer movies. He had to keep doing this to launch off. I was like, all you got to do to take Cyclops out is chop his hands off, and all of a sudden he's screwed.
The nubbin. But I just sat there going, well, if she's a mutant, then why does she need the bangle to activate? Like, mutant should be, hey, you hit puberty, and all of a sudden it's there. So again, it feels like it's maybe
not the question. We just don't know. Yeah, because what is her mutant power then?
It's like maybe the mutant it's in humans, and that's what it is. Because darned if I know. Because as far as my knowledge of mutants is, as soon as you hit puberty, you start getting powers. You could get lucky and you don't turn to a freak, or you do, and then you have to live in the sewers. So it's one or the other. You gotta do the Morlocks, and you gotta be like Leech and hang out down there, or you gotta get to be like Warren Worthington. You just gotta fly around and be awesome. So questions. Who knows?
Or you could be the lowest X-Men. You could be Morph. And nobody wants to hang out with that guy.
Everyone wants to hang out. That's a lie. Everyone wants to hang out with Morph. That's a complete. I think the worst person. Who is the worst X-Men to hang out with?
I'm going from that cartoon. Morph was not a good cartoon character.
It was great. Probably. Yeah, I don't. Who was the? Yeah, I don't know.
I guess the guy that the guy that keeps dropping the gold balls. What was that guy's name? Because they really elevated
his name was Gold Balls.
Yeah, I think you're right. They really elevated his purpose in House of X Powers of 10. And because it was his balls essentially that were helping to rebirth.
Let's keep it G.
Yeah, I think almost every of the X-Men is pretty cool. Like, you'd be able to hang. There'd be a solid hang with every X-Men. Like, I'm just thinking, like, even the one that's like that can speak all multiple languages, it would be awesome to hang out with a guy that can speak multiple languages.
You just take him around town. I think your choices, Stu, are Sunfire because it'd be too hot, and Iceman because it'd be too cold. You'd be like, oh man, I can't hang out with either of these guys. They're too extreme.
On the right circumstances, not bad. Like if I'm in the forest and it's cold, I want a Sunfire. If it's
he's gonna light all the trees on fire.
Well,
I'm gonna take Mr. Furious from the Mystery Men. That's who I'll take to hang out with.
Not an X-Men, but that doesn't really count. Yeah.
You know what it is? You know who it is? It's Beast, because he is super unprofessional. What he'll do is he'll come out in a trench coat and essentially be wearing his underwear. Like, imagine if you went to go see your doctor and he was just wearing a Speedo and his white lab coat. That's what Beast does. Be a professional, Beast.
But here's the thing, Rob. You would rather Mr. Fierce than the Raja? Like, I feel like I would rather hang out with the Raja, like, of the Mystery Men. Either that or the Shoveler, because I think either of them would have some stories to tell.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Definitely not the Flatulator.
No. Yeah, because I think that, like, the Raja.
At least you can do games with the bowler.
Yeah, but it's an unfair advantage because it's the dad.
We have to rewatch Mystery Men.
No, can we stop talking about this trash movie? We're talking about Miss Marvel.
It's not trash. In its moment, it had some things to it. It is, at the end of the day, we have to appreciate all the non-MCU things, because at the end of the day, it's like, watching that or watching some of the DC movies or watching The Boys, like, you need variety, because if everything was the MCU, then we'd be tired of the MCU quite quickly. So I'm appreciative of that.
Not with shows like
men.
Miss Marvel. I think this was a breath of fresh air for the Marvel.
No, 100%. Let's talk about these shows, John. Out of all the shows, we did it last time. Is this your favorite Marvel series?
Let's see. Out of the Disney Plus shows,
because your scale was all over the place. Because based on
my scale's everywhere. So Hawkeye was probably at the top of the list at some point. Falcon and Winter Soldier. But certainly up there.
We asked you, and you said it wasn't your favorite show, even though the number said that. You went by
for some reason, I felt like I ranked Falcon and Winter Soldier higher. But I feel like this show in particular is so consistent throughout, and keeping you entertained. We didn't even mention the music. It's got a pretty crazy soundtrack as well. Every episode is just filled with all these different musical tracks, which are really going to be good on when you go back to the rewatch and maybe delve into like some playlists and stuff like that. So I think this one just visually, and like there's so many things probably didn't pick up the first view through. I think this is going to take the top spot. And my ratings were consistent because we only did episode 1 in the whole season. So you can't mess up. I can't mess up my ratings.
We can. You gave 11s to Hawkeye. You said the best show on TV.
Did I? I don't recall. Is that what they said in the Amber Heard trial? I don't recall.
Say though that you just hinged this series as the number 1 for you based on its music, and you didn't realize they played the X-Men '97 theme.
It played a chord. Get out of town.
That's a chord is a chord is you wouldn't be striked on YouTube for that. So technically John's correct. Like if you can't get copyright stricken by a chord, it's not really the thing. So like but even you look at Hawkeye had a great sound, all the Christmas stuff.
I'm just saying as a total package, this has a lot going for it all at once, and it's pretty consistent. Like every episode kind of, I feel like
really certain you said the same about Moon Knight.
What?
I feel like the last show you watch is your favorite.
This might be the case.
No, he did not love Moon Knight. He did not love Moon Knight.
I did not rate Moon Knight this highly.
Rob, where are you at?
You know what? Listen, I really enjoy the show, but I still think for me, Hawkeye is probably my is the one I keep thinking about. I would put this probably close to a second. I actually like this more than Moon Knight. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. We all know my feelings on WandaVision.
You were like number 1 supporter at the beginning.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Rob was like, it was 3 episodes too long because there seemed to be 6 episodes that what Rob or Loki, the missing 2 episodes that Rob says exist.
I thought there was
not
8.
real.
But you know, and I hate to give this guy credit, but John made a point that at least this show was same with Hawkeye, was consistent all the way through. Loki was very up and down. WandaVision was very up and down for me. I would prefer to watch the last 2 episodes of WandaVision out of anything that they did in that series season. And Falcon the Winter Soldier, I feel like I need to go back and rewatch it. But I felt like it was really bloated. I felt like that was 6 episodes that could have been done in 3.
They have the whole COVID problem too as well. So the last episodes aren't nearly as strong as this.
Yeah, so I think that this might be number 2 for me, 2 or 3. But yeah, I really like Hawkeye. So
yeah, I think Hawkeye from beginning to end, it just because it was an established character, it's had an unfair advantage because we know who Hawkeye is, and really you had ringers because you had Yelena show up, you had the Kingpin, and it
was a star-studded season compared to this show, which has these are all new people.
Yep, and Haley Steinfeld, like you had characters and you had really good actors and Via Farmiga, like again, everyone's really good. I think this one had a standout actress, and we're biased because she's a friend of the store. So we will refrain from giving her too much praise because I think it's self-explanatory. I think she's one of the best parts of the show.
She deserves it.
But everyone else was kind of like really didn't know them. And there were actors maybe in the world sphere were known, but in terms of North America, we have no idea who they are. So it's a different scale. I think.
But they all put in like maximum effort. That guy who played the Red Dagger, I forgot what his name is. He went to like a dialect coach to make sure he like properly represented and things like that. Like this show, I feel like everyone just like, you know, when you make the most out of what you're getting, like you're just like are putting every ounce of effort in, where some shows might just film it and, you know, call it in. This show really like went all out.
Yeah, I think that it did all the family and the nuance that you would want, and I'm excited to see her in the movie. So we have to wait till 2023, I think July. So it is quite a long time away.
Yeah.
A year. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So it's gonna be a long time before we see her again.
Now wait, have you guys seen that clip though? That's online. So there's that Disney, you know, Marvel cruise or Avengers cruise or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's a clip that they were showing, and I guess they've officially released now because people were already using their phones, of Miss Marvel interacting with Sam Wilson, Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And Brie Larson is there as well, like as Captain Marvel and stuff like that. So
and then Ant-Man and the Wasp are there too.
Yeah.
So it is a whole Avengers as people on a Disney cruise. Yeah, I saw the clip, not the clip, but like the picture of the person on the phone. I'm like, I can't watch this. This is like like this is ridiculous. Like this shouldn't be watched on the side of a camera. But yeah,
but it's also I'm not going to spend $10,000 just to watch it on the boat either.
Rob, I thought we'd established that Mr. Ho here of the Dr. Ho's conglomerate.
Call my uncle.
He'll call his uncle for you, buddy.
Well,
he may only be able to get enough scratch for you to go on the cruise, but at the same time, as I think you and your family would be pleased with that deal.
I'll get your rubber dinghy to float alongside and a set of binoculars.
Great, thanks. Well, my tens machine keeps me active.
It's good enough. Good enough. All right. Any final thoughts, John, on this show before we wrap things up?
Yeah, it's just I have to keep calling the show beautiful. Like all the things that they put into it, the lighting, the camera work. They put up whole rigs to do these crazy shots of it flipping over and things like that when she's lying down in her bed. So like I think it's just A++ for effort in knowing that they're kind of like putting this out there, and this is representing a certain culture and people and things like that. So I think they knew what was riding on this, and they definitely, like, I feel like they did over deliver. So I'm very impressed with the show. You know, all biases aside, I'll say I'm less biased than say Andre, who actually got to deal with her a lot, kind of in person. I only got to kind of like help her a couple times. So I think my bias is a little lower than Andre's, but I still think that she was the like, I don't know if they would have worked with anybody else. There's lightning in a bottle, as they say, with the casting.
Rob, final thoughts?
Yeah, a couple of things. One is that I this is definitely going to be on a rewatch for me. And I would really encourage, we know that, you know, Stu, at the top of this show, you said that the numbers haven't been really there for viewership, and the conspiracy theorist in me could probably put a reason as to why, but I'm going to hold out hope that there are other factors involved as to why, and would really encourage those, if you have not seen it, to not be scared of what you think would be, you know, that it's, you know, it's not accessible to you if your skin is a certain shade like mine. So I think you should watch it. I think you should stop, you know, bitching about it and watch it. I think you will enjoy it. Also, I think that the directors of the episode 1 and this one, they were the showrunners, and of the finale are also the directors of Batgirl. And I got to say, guys, after seeing this show and, you know, them helming it and the first and last, this kind of elevated my, I guess, excitement or expectation for what the Batgirl movie will be like, because I really didn't give a shit. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of interested to see what they do, because they did a really awesome job with this property. So now I'm intrigued with what they do with Batgirl. So
it's like a hunger. You could tell they really wanted to do something and put like their own spin on it. It's like, you know, when a musical artist has been undiscovered for so long, and you get that album that's super polished because they've just been honing that craft. So yeah, that's cool.
Or like when they have like the X-Men 97 theme in, and it's really worked in well.
Yeah. Let's not forget the duo directed John's favorite movie of 2020,
Right.
Bad Boys for Life.
Yes.
I thought you knew this already, John. The two directors.
I remember now. Yes.
Yeah, but they did drop out from the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Yes,
so,
that made me very sad.
They did drop, so probably for the best that they aren't in part of that franchise. It is what it is. All right, John. Come on? Look, we don't need more Beverly Hills Cop.
We do. Axel Foley.
We don't.
Look what happened when they gave us more Lethal Weapon. They gave us 2 seasons or 3 seasons of a show that it's really it was
okay.
No, we do not need that at all. We do not need that. Just like we do not need a reboot of Rollerball, Darsh. We only needed one version of it. Just
but I am excited for that reboot of Quantum Leap coming this fall.
Yeah, but there's just some things that should be untouchable. It's like The Godfather. Do not remake The Godfather.
Right. Just make a story about making The Godfather.
That's the closest you can do. I'm fine with the offer. Don't you dare do it again. John, tell us where they can find you on the internets in the desert of the real.
Yeah, social medias, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Heroes World Online. You can find us also in person. You can dive through some back issues and tons of Miss Marvel stuff in stock. So if you want to read a little bit more about the character or check out some other new release comic books, any company, Marvel, DC, Image, IDW, anyone we carry all the major brands and we can order we can special order stuff for you. So check us out in the real world, Markham, Ontario. All the links will be in the description.
Yeah, comment, let us know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if John is right, or tell us your thoughts on period. Rob, what's going on the Sidekick show?
Yeah, thanks, Stu. So this Monday, 8:15 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. John and I are doing the Sidekick show. Listen, guys, we are in the middle of July. It wouldn't feel this way. I don't know where you guys are. Not you two. I know where you are. But I don't know who the people who are listening or watching this, where you are. But we haven't really had that heat wave. We haven't had the heat that puts senior citizens in danger. That's the type of heat that I like. So we're going to bring the heat on Monday. We're going to talk about our favorite summer movies that we like to watch. And we would encourage you guys to join us Monday night, 8:15 live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. The comments on YouTube, that's where we get a lot of the interaction. And join us and let us know what your favorite summer movies are.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. Watch the Sidekick show. Tell them about your summer movies. Give them your thoughts. Thinking about the summer movies of my choice. It'll be interesting. I'll try to join in and give my thoughts too. As I'm thinking about my summer movies. It's got to be Independence Day, right? Like, are we gonna just talk about
ID4? ID4 is on your list.
ID4. Like, I think I saw that like 6 times in the theater. Like, that movie was.
You are hardcore. That's a long ass movie.
Yeah,
but you almost saw Mystery Men 3 times in theaters. So
get out of town. Nobody saw that 3 times in theaters. I can go look it up and see if there's 3 showings in a row.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
1999 was a good year. I don't know.
I think I saw it once, but yeah, no, I get you. It was a good one. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
See ya.